some mountain bikes, so that after lunch we're going to film some downhill biking for the Atlas video, which I'm pretty excited about. I've never done mountain biking before, and my legs and bum are really sore from the camel riding and the horse riding, but it's going to be great, particularly out in the scenery. It's raining, we're taking as little as possible, so we're literally taking a GoPro with a chest mount and a head mount, an external battery pack to charge the GoPro on the way over. And then we've got the A7S with the Video Mic Pro on the top, and that's literally it. And, you know, the guys are basically going to drive us up to the top, let us out with the mountain bikes. One of the guys will come with us, and we'll just cycle back to the Riyadh. Out there. Awesome.
I wasn't expecting this. It is snowing a lot. It's like very thick, quite frequent and heavy. And you know, vision is severely reduced. It's quite hard to see the distance from here. It's going to be very steep, so we're going to have to do a lot of stop-starting, but I'm sure with the magic of editing we'll be able to make it look cool. It's not going to be as easy just to strap on like a GoPro, carrying that one especially. And of course we don't want to damage it. If anyone falls and breaks it, then there goes our main camera for the trip.
Awesome, you excited?
Hell yeah, woo!
Let's go.
Let's go! How was that?
That is really hard.
Ah, Jesus! Ah, I got it on camera.
So we're really running out of time. We've got about 15 more minutes of light till it's too dark to film, and the mountain biking is really hard, so we are really struggling. But we've got some kind of good clips, but I think this is all going to be in the post fixing this. So this is a real test now of the A7S's sensor. It's pitch dark. I filmed it with my iPhone, which you can see now. You can barely see anything. We're going to put the ISO levels on the screen, and so you guys can make a choice on what you feel is like usable. Grain as this may be, Sony kind of makes it grain that weirdly kind of looks cool. Like, obviously I've only got the tiny LCD screen, I'm sure this will look super ugly on a larger screen. $128,000. The camera is so cold and like icy. Yeah, there's ice in the lens, yeah.
You can still see me, I'll be impressed.
So guys, so now we're back at the Riyadh. We've dumped a load of the footage off our SD cards and had a look at everything we've filmed so far, which I think is really important to do. We're charging up batteries, sorting out kit, drying out all our clothes from the snow and stuff. And now we're trying to work out our plan for tomorrow. So we're traveling out to the Sahara Desert tomorrow, which is a 6-hour drive, and there's lots of stop-offs on the way. It's just a crazy, extreme environment to be filming in. But yeah, I'm super excited for a lot of it. We're filming a load of dirt biking, so it's gonna be great. So the next morning we woke up and the Atlas Mountains had been covered in snow overnight. So we were all excited to head out towards the Sahara Desert.
Peeing on a cactus.
So one of my only gripes about the Sony A7S Mark II is the battery life. We burned through the batteries like you wouldn't believe. But an A7S we could easily get through, 10 in a day if we were filming all day constantly. A GH4 battery, that'll get you for about a third of the day maybe. The genuine Sony batteries are really expensive, so we don't buy the real ones. But even when we had those, we found that they weren't massively different. So one thing I'd say is I'm certainly going to be buying a battery grip for the A7 when we get back to the UK. So now we've got a few more hours of driving before we get to the Sahara. We're not even halfway there yet. But we've come across this amazing view from this cafe, so we're just going to set up a time-lapse while we have some tea and stuff.
We're about 3/5 of the way through the journey to the Sahara, and as we were at the top of the mountain peaks, as you can see from the footage, it's all snowy, it's blizzardy, the roads are covered in ice. We come around this large swooping corner and suddenly no more snow. and it's back to all sand and greenery. There's not a, you know, apart from the peaks of the mountains behind us, there's not a single bit of snow in sight.
So I think we're gonna get a night time lapse, and I'm just gonna run you through kind of our techniques for this and how we go about this. So we shoot our time lapses on the GH4, and this is mainly because despite having the A7, which is great in low light, it doesn't have a default inbuilt time lapse setting. So all you have to do is you just take your GH4 and then switch it over to manual mode. And I'd keep it on single shot to start with. Then obviously whack it on a tripod. We just use this like lightweight Manfrotto tripod. And before I start another thing, you need to turn off silent shutter if you have it on. So what I do is put it on the tripod and I work out what shot I want to get. Now I've got this wall in the way, so I'm just going to try and get this as high as possible. Now obviously I can barely see anything at all on the screen right now. So straight off the bat, if I lightly press down the button you use to take a picture, I can see that my shutter speed and my aperture settings have come up red. That's telling me that it's either going to be way too dark or way too light. So immediately I'm going to scroll the shutter all the way down to maybe 20 seconds. And I'm going to bring the aperture down 10. And then I'm going to whack the ISO up to 1600. And I'm going to bring our shutter down to 6 and do a test picture. Now it's going to take 60 seconds to take the picture, and then it's going to take another 60 seconds to process it. I'm pretty happy with that composition. I think I'm going to twist it over to the right just a touch. If you want to do more test images, rather than waiting 2 minutes every time, sometimes I'll put the ISO at like a ridiculously high level and the aperture down as low as possible, and I have the shortest shutter speed that you'll be able to see, and I'll use that to mess around with the composition. And then once I've got my composition right, then I'll adjust the kind of shutter speed and stuff, which takes a really long time. So the aperture is on 3.2, which isn't ideal if I'm honest, because it means that you're not necessarily going to be able to capture everything, but the shutter's up at 60 and then the ISO's down at 800, so it should be that little bit less grainy. So this is the great thing about the GH4 is you switch it over into time-lapse mode and you're able to easily change the settings here. I'm going to put it up to 2 minutes and I'm going to give it an extra 10 seconds, which also means if I want to, I can kind of have a quick look and check it's looking good. Image count, I've got it up at 650. I won't use all of those images. I just want it to kind of run till it runs out of battery. If it's really cold, you'll often find that the battery will just die randomly. You generally want, obviously if you're stepping down to 25 frames per second or 24 frames per second, you generally want about 100 images because that gives you 4 seconds. So now we're literally just going to leave it for like a good few hours. I go to check the GH4 and it's off. I realise, okay, so the battery's low, so take out another battery, put it in, turn it on, switch it straight off again. The problem is it's just too cold. So I'm trying to heat up the camera now. I'm then going to try and put it in exactly the same spot, carry on the time lapse and wrap it up in a blanket and hope for the best really. So I've tried to put it back in exactly the same place. I'm just looking at what we shot earlier to check it's all good, and I think it looks great actually, and you can really see the rotation of the Earth, which is really cool. I'll wait for the first picture and then I'll wrap it in this, and hopefully that will keep it going. Here we go again. Very careful to not ruin the focus ring, to not obscure the shot. Obviously this first frame is going to be a complete write-off, but that's not really a problem. I'm not concerned about that. I'm more worried about it just not freezing over basically. My recommendation would be, if we'd known it was going to be this cold, we probably would have bought hand warmers, but hopefully this will work just fine.